Welcome back, YouTube, to Universe X, and today I am proud to present the follow-up to the last What If collaborations. This is part 2 out of 2 of the Demon Slayer What If collaboration just videos. I said before, if the previous one got a lot of feedback, that I would do a second one with Nezuko, and so far it's only been 6 days, but the video has 600 views and climbing, so I'm hoping that it can be my first video to get over 1,000 views. You guys can help me, but this is the follow-up. I'm so happy for all the support. I'm gonna see if I can show this off while I'm at the meetup, see if anybody else digs it, but the link to the Tanjiro video will be down below, and I'll also have it on an end card at the end of this video. So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications button, help me grow so I can keep putting up more and more content. And I am just excited to get right into this. So, like I said, this video is focusing on Nezuko, and as you can see on screen, I'm envisioning her as a dark knight. Now, the reason why I've done this is because Nezuko so far has often been seen being the most real when she's protecting Tanjiro or other humans. So that just screamed knight to me. And then of course dark for clear reasons. I mean, she's a demon, just look at her color palette, like I feel like that's dark. So I'm going to move into the moves in a moment, and I want to remind you, and remind anybody that may be watching, I don't own any of this footage from this anime. It's got no sound on it, it's just there so you can see the moves I'm taking inspiration from when I'm thinking about what the animations could be based off of. So rolling right into that. Her S1, protect all humans. Just a powerful drop kick. I love this animation from when it first just happened on screen, but I have it as kind of like I kind of based Charlotte and Shadow Rose, like the S1s there, where they change depending on where you are in the battle. I have it with a base 35% chance to inflict provoke if the caster's health is above 50%. And then if your health is below 50%, absorb some of the damage as health. And then this move overall scales off of your HP. So total HP. So now these percentages always could be tweaked. Of course, this is a what if. 35 may be too low, but I thought 50 would be too high. Maybe it wouldn't be, but of course that would probably go up with Molagora. And I think that would actually be just kind of neat. So as she keeps a healthy health pool, she can, or high health pool, she can keep provoking people to draw the attention towards her, whereas when she's low enough, she can work on getting her own health back up, because Flavor, she's a demon and she has crazy regeneration powers. I was thinking about having her just be an offensive knight, like much like Charles or Charlotte, but my friend Matt, shout out, I mean Matt's in a lot of my videos and helps me with a lot of stuff. He was saying that it would still kind of fit more in line for her to scale off of HP, so she can be built like the really tanky bruisers, kind of. Also shout out to my friend Pat, who also gave me some feedback when I put my initial draft this character out. But yes, versatile first move, good, hopefully no matter where you are in the battle. And the turning off the provoke when she just needs to gain health should be pretty good for longevity. Now, second one, S2. I wanted this to be a passive, demonic intimidation. So I have it as 25 less damage received from provoked enemies. So if she provokes somebody, you know, they just get hit, or when they hit, it's going to do less damage, helps her tank through the provokes. And then when an ally falls below 50% health, there is a 100% chance to inflict provoke on all enemies with a 3-turn cooldown built into it. Much like Volcanic Viper has a 2-turn cooldown, how it can only happen every other turn, I want this one to happen every 3 turns. And basically this would just allow you to, if somebody gets nuked but not killed, you know, you can try to take provoke onto Nezuko to protect that character or those characters in the case of Cleaves. And this would just be the ability for her to try to shift control of the battle into her favor. Even if she dies, you're still saving your other members, or giving a chance for them to operate and hamper the opponent, heal, do what they need to do. But this is like a shaky skill because it could be very, very, very powerful. I'm not sure if 3-turn cooldown is enough on that passive, but also the damage mitigation would allow her to tank a lot of damage through that, especially since they're only able to use their S1s under provoke. Moving on, her S3 would be Blood Demon Art Bloodburst, or Blood Explosion, depending on, you know, what you're looking at, dubbed, well, subs, the manga. But this would be an AoE on a 5-turn cooldown. And I have it with an 85% chance to reduce combat readiness by 30% and inflict attack down for 2 turns. Increase damage if an ally's health is below 50%. Damage scales off of total health. And then the soul burn would be to ignore the resistance. So with this move, this is the big bomb. It's going to do damage, it's going to cut their attack, and it's going to reduce combat readiness. With this, I would like to try to, of course, put a net over the opponent so you can at least kind of get set up. This character may not be the fastest, but if you build her faster, she can get to a point where she can try to stop the team from just inflicting mad KO. And maybe this is a little bit too just, you know, powerful, but at the same time, people are running immunity sets, resist, people can cleanse, so maybe this is just actually fine in the resist heavy immunity set meta. Now with all this in mind, moving into the next parts of the kit, basically I was envisioning a tanky control when it comes to Nezuko. Not necessarily just like damaging, but the ability to just control the flow of battle a little more. Provoke heavy character. Because of the power of the passive as well as the S3, I tried to keep the S2 or the S1 almost specifically for longevity on the heal, but also keep the provoke chance fairly low in order to maintain somewhat of a balance. She can't just be provoking everybody at every time and then taking 25% less damage. I was thinking that because of her skill 3, and I was trying to make her kind of an anti-cleave if necessary, or if possible, you know, being able to, if she goes first, reduce the attack of everybody. And reduce their combat readiness, hopefully giving you a chance to set up your defensive buffs, or, you know, pick off one of the people, the buffer, the DPS if you can. And then her passive, if everybody survives, if anybody survives, you may be able to make a bigger comeback with her provoking everybody so that they can't pick off the rest of your team. Because normally cleaves will have a main cleaver and then a follow-up cleaver just to finish off everything, and hopefully this will prevent that follow-up cleaver from annihilating the rest of your team. Because cleave is kind of a huge part of PvP, and sometimes it does kind of feel a little dirty, like you had a huge strategy just for the villager to get pumped up, you to get defense broken, everybody to die. So I'm hoping this character will kind of throw a wrench in some of those and kind of bring back some more single target focus. And then she is also built to where if you focus her first, nothing bad really happens. If you focus her first, she's gone, she can't really inhibit your team, and that's what a tank is supposed to do, draw focus to them to protect other people, and I feel like that's very much so in Nezuko's stuff. So like I was saying before, a speed set, so she can be fast enough to use her S3, combined with either health or immunity, just to basically not have her get impaired before she can even go off, or for her to have enough health to survive everything. Either or, but that's just what I suggest. Of course, if it's PvP, everything's going to be speed. Tank substats, you know, the normal health, defense, speed, and effect resistance where you can get it. You can kind of switch the effect resistance and speed depending on where you want her to go in order. Now, when it comes to bread and butter for PvP and PvE, of course for PvE, or PvP, her S3 needs to go off. It hampers the entire opposing team, sets them back a little bit, gives you a little breathing room both in terms of damage taken and in CR. Past that, you would have you would actually have the ability to protect your team due to her passive, but also she just pokes with her S1. provoke where you can, heal where you can, if you can. And that's just pretty simple. PvE, it pretty much acts the same way, except it's a little less friendly to bosses because bosses can't really be provoked. But the CR push and the attack down could be a very good thing. You know, we saw how good Dizzy was, and she has those on 2 separate skills. So having, even though it's not the speed and the chance to hit down, you know, the attack down for 2 turns and the CR pushback could be pretty good for PvE too. With the provoke, it's probably not going to be good for farming because she would provoke and you want your fodder to die, so your other person can come in. But she should have some sustain with her S1 if her health drops below 50%. And then you've got the S2, which should be overall just good for PvE. She should be able to tank very well in PvE content. Now, moving on to her awakening board, she's a dark Capricorn. December 28th is her birthday. So I have it here. Her first awakening will be health plus 3%, second, defense plus 3%. The third would be the 25% less damage taken from provoked enemies on her passive. That would be gained through the awakening system. Her fourth awakening would be speed plus 4. Fifth awakening would be health plus 6%. And the last awakening slot would be health plus 6%. And so that would be pretty cut and paste there, or pretty cut and dry there. And then her artifact. This one, Matt and I were tinkering on in the morning. It's still very rough, but it was a very interesting idea, and I don't know if this would be too strong or not strong enough. If you had a healer on your offensive team, this probably wouldn't mean too much, just have to be a little tighter on your heals. But if you did not have a healer on your offensive team, this could get really big really fast. And the artifact would be Bamboo Muzzle. After taking damage, if the health of the caster is under 50%, return 20% of the damage to the attacker. Damage return cannot exceed 10% of the caster's maximum health. So the max upgrade of this will be 40% of the damage return. And what this looks like, just take simple basic numbers. Let's say your tank has 20,000 health, okay? If you get hit with 5,000 damage to your tank, they would flip 1,000 back with this weapon, or with this artifact. They flip 1,000 back at base if they had 20k health. If they had 20k health and it was max limit broken at its 40%, your opponent would hit with 5k and take 2,000 back. Which again, if you have a healer, this isn't that much unless your DPS is really squishy, but it will kind of soften them up for your DPS to clap back at. So this could be a very good thing for lots of your tanks. With Nezuko, a person that will start asking people to attack her, very much so, this would be good. Charlotte has an AoE taunt, this would be good. There's a lot of tanks that have enough taunt, enough provoke, to use this effectively, but your max health needs to be higher. At 17k, getting hit with 5k can only return 1,700 back, so you need to put it up. And at the biggest of boyest numbers, 28,000 health, Dark Corvuses or Crows, could clap back for a massive amount of damage. If they get hit hard enough. So you'd have to think really hard. The ways to get around this artifact would be to bring somebody as close to 50% as possible, and then see if you can set up for the one shot after that, or attack them with tanky DPSs. There's plenty of things. Maybe get the dual attack in from Lilius, and then hope that your DPS comes and smashes the rest of it. So there's a lot of ways to work with it, and I'm not sure again if this artifact is too strong or not strong enough, but that's for you to decide. Please comment with your likes, your thoughts, your dislikes. Just let me know what you thought was cool about this kit. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me with this. This was really fun to do. I really liked making the what if for Tanjiro, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the what if for Nezuko too. I'll see you guys next time you decide to drop into Universe X. The link for the Tanjiro video is down there, as well as on the end card, probably up now, maybe in a couple seconds. And if you're going to New York Comic Con, I will see you there at the convention hopefully, but most certainly at the meetup if you got in. Thanks. Peace.